Hello and welcome to the lecture series on automobile engineering. Today we'll discuss about the types of brakes. So as we have seen in previous lecture, the brakes are basically the elements which converts the kinetic energy of the vehicle into heat energy that is being dissipated into the atmosphere. So brakes are basically acting upon the principle of friction. Okay. So friction is basically, as we know, that is the resistance to motion between two objects in contact with each other. Okay, like dry friction, as in case of brakes. Greasy friction we come across in automobiles, that is wheel bearings. Okay, and the friction may be viscous friction that happens in case of crank main bearings. Okay, crankshaft. Friction varies with the roughness of the surface, and kinetic friction is basically the friction during motion. Static friction is basically the friction during rest. So now we'll discuss about the types of brakes. So the general types are disc brakes and drum brakes, as we know. Okay, but based on several requirements, the brakes may be classified. On the basis of purpose, we may classify the brakes as parking brake, primary brake, service brake, or secondary brake. On the basis of construction, we may classify them as drum brakes, disc brakes. Okay, and on the basis of method of actuation, we can classify them as mechanical brakes, hydraulic brakes, electric brakes, vacuum brakes, or air brakes. Okay, these are certain types of brakes that are used on the basis of method of actuation. So some brakes are extraordinary, in which some extra effort need to be applied. So they are basically, they may be assisted by somebody else, like vacuum assisted brakes or air assisted brakes. So these are some common types that are being used in the automobiles. So as we have seen, service brakes are, it's the primary braking system using a pedal connected to a hydraulic system, causing it to operate. Okay. Parking brakes are generally mechanical brakes. It's mechanically operated, and it is being applied by using a lever or pedal. Okay. Some brakes like air brakes are basically pneumatic brakes which are being operated by using compressed air. Okay. Hydraulic brakes are used by hydraulic means or hydraulic fluid pressure to transmit the power. And basically the fluid that is being used in the hydraulic brakes are incompressible in nature. So they may be used to apply the brakes. So now we'll take an example. Say these two pistons are operated. If they are of same size, then what will happen? By applying the fluid pressure, they will move to same force, same distance and same force. Okay. If same force is applied, they will move a similar sort of distance. Now consider the case when the small piston acts on the large piston. This is small piston, this is larger piston. So if this piston acts, like this arrow is shown, acts over the large piston, the large piston will travel with more force but a shorter distance, because we know the formula of force. So this specification, the size of the smaller piston is less as compared to the size of the larger piston. So when it acts on the larger piston, the displacement will be less but the force will be more. Okay. Now converse of this, what will happen? If the large piston acts on a small piston, the small piston will travel a longer distance but with less force. Okay, if we apply force here, then what will happen? It will travel more distance, okay, with less extent of force. So hydraulic braking system can be understood using this diagram, okay, this image. So it primarily consists of the units, like these are steel pipes through which the fluid is being transferred, the brake fluid. These are dot 3 fluid, dot 4 fluid. We'll discuss about brake fluids also. These are incompressible in nature, so they have certain viscosity range. Okay, these are used as a braking fluid in hydraulic braking system. So these all black linings are the brake linings. Okay, black color in nature, these are brake linings through which the brake fluid is being transferred. So the action starts from the brake pedal. Here the driver presses the pedal. This action is being transmitted to the master cylinder, that is basically acting by using the mechanical means, and here it is filled with a hydraulic fluid. This hydraulic fluid, when pressurizes, goes to the different brake linings. Okay, and here at the end we have a flexible pipe because we have to turn this wheel also. So there is a disc over which the friction pads are mounted. Okay, so this high pressure fluid acts over the uh, wheel cylinder. Okay, wheel cylinder, these calipers, like in this case it is shown that the front wheels are fitted with the disc brakes and the rear wheels are fitted with the drum brakes. So in case of drum brakes we have wheel cylinder in which the high pressure fluid is acted, and two pistons are there, they are acted outside, they are moving outside. So their outside movement will tend to force this particular, these two shoes outward. So these sticks onto the drum by the action of this frictional material, that is known as brake shoe or brake linings. Okay, so this is the entire action. The action starts from brake pedal, goes pressed by the driver, it goes to the master cylinder to high pressure fluid goes to the different linings at the front brake system and the rear braking system. So in this case, front braking system is fitted with a disc brake and rear braking system is fitted with a drum brake. So some valves are there that are metering and proportioning valve. So based on our requirement, we may set the metering and proportioning valve. That is how much force we want to apply at the front brakes and at the rear brakes. So in our previous lecture, we have discussed that about 60 to 80% force is being applied over the front brakes, and remaining 40% or 30% is applied over the rear side, because due to the weight transfer while braking, this brake must be more effective as compared to the rear ones. Okay, that we have discussed in the previous lecture. So this is the entire hydraulic braking system. Now coming back to brakes, so we have seen that when the vehicle comes to a stop, most of the weight is shifted to the front, that we have seen in the previous lecture. So 60 to 80% of the work is done by the front brakes only. So they must be more effective. Okay. So we'll talk about the drum brakes. Basically, this is an exploded view of drum brakes. So in case of drum brakes, a brake drum is attached concentrating to the axle hub, whereas on the axle casing is mounted at back plate. Okay, we'll see the parts here one by one. So that the back plate made of pressed steel sheet is ribbed to the increased rigidity and to provide support for the expander, anchor and brake shoe. It also protects the drum and shoe assembly from the mud and dust. Okay, it absorbs the complete torque reaction of the shoes, due to which the reasons it is sometimes also called as torque plate. Okay, so the components, basic components are brake drum. Okay, these are the primary shoe and linings. These are shoe springs, studs. Through studs, these are connected to the primary shoes. Okay, and this is shoe return spring. These are shoe holding. This is the backing plate assembly, anchor, retainer. Okay, and these are wheel cylinder, the cylinder piston. This is cylinder cup, wheel cylinder boot. This is being covered to prevent the dust particles. So this is the entire exploded view of the drum brake. So the main unit are the drum, this is the brake drum, and backing plate. Okay, that also prevents from mud. So this shoe or these shoes are fitted over the drum, and they used to fitted inside the drum in case of internally expanding brakes, and over the drums in case of externally contracting brakes. Okay, so we'll see with clear picture. So in this we can see that this is the brake drum, and this is the case of internally expanding brakes. This is the anchor, adjuster, this is heel of shoes. Okay, this is a heel of shoes, back plate fitted at the back, brake linings made of friction material, and toe of shoe. Okay, and this is brake drum, and this is spring that brings it back. Okay, so what happens basically while applying the brake, these anchors are basically acting, forces this particular brake shoe to come outside and stick over the drum. Okay, so that's what they are expanding outward and applying the brake, so they are known as internally expanding brakes. Okay, now from this figure we can see two leading shoe brakes may be made, or two leading shoe brakes in both directions can be prepared. That depends upon the mechanism that we use. So this sort of mechanism we can use to apply or to prepare a two leading shoe brake. What is meant by leading? Basically leading is the if we see that the direction of rotation is this, okay, and while applying brake the shoe also moves in the same direction, so that is known as two leading shoe brake. It should move in the two direction, in the same direction, so it is a leading brake shoe. If it moves opposite to the motion of the drum or rotation of the drum, that is known as trailing brake. Okay, normally the brakes are self adjusting in case of drum brakes. Okay, so this is the entire picture that represents the each and every component of brake shoe that we have discussed earlier. So rear brakes are self adjusting because they are fitted with the spring assemblies. They adjust when the vehicle is reversed and brakes are applied. Okay, so the construction of the brake consists of brake linings, that is shoe. So brake lining is made of various materials like asbestos, like felt, like cork. Some are bonded or glued to a metal plate. Some may be riveted to a metal plate. Okay, brake lining must be strong enough to absorb the heat and last a long time. Their life must be long enough to survive for a longer time. Okay, now we'll discuss about the disc brakes. So these basically are found on most of the vehicles in front wheels. Okay, as at rear or four wheel disc brakes vehicles. So it has a rotor, a disc between two pads. The caliper, that is the main assembly of the disc brake, squeezes the pads against the disc when the brakes are applied. That squeezing action applies the brakes. Okay, disc brakes work much better than the drum brakes as they cool better and apply more pressure. So as I have told you that disc brakes are more effective as compared to drum brakes because the cooling effect is more in case of disc brakes as compared to drum brakes, right? So they are able to apply more pressure. So we have in for disc we have metallic like last longer, but feed for rotor, semi-metallic or ceramic, we may use any sort of disc brakes. So this is an example of disc brake adopted only for demonstration purpose, showing different components of disc brakes. Okay, this is the rotor, these are calipers, and this black part is the shoe. Okay, so here we can see that inside this caliper we have a fluid acting at high pressure that is being supplied by the master cylinder by pressing action by the driver. So this can be further classified as sliding or swinging caliper type of disc brakes. Okay, so now we can see what is swinging caliper type of disc brake. So now see this friction pad, and there is a fulcrum pin about which this entire caliper can swivel. Okay, that's what it is known as swinging caliper type of disc brakes. And this is the disc which is being rotated. Okay, fixed friction pad, this is fixed friction pad, and this is another friction pad, and this is fulcrum pin about which this entire caliper can swivel in this direction, this direction. So fluid under pressure comes and acts over this piston. This piston is moved forward. Okay, this piston is moved forward and applies the pressure over the friction pad, and due to this, this may swivel and adjust its position. So if this wears out, then it automatically adjusts its position as per the requirement. Now in case of sliding caliper type of disc brakes, this entire caliper is being slided. This is not swiveled at some fulcrum pin. This entire system shifts left or right, translate basically. Okay, so here the fluid under pressure comes to this side, the piston, two pistons are there, the fluid pressure acts on this part, this moves the piston to expand outward. Okay, this action moves the entire caliper to one side, or it translates the caliper. Okay, so this is known as sliding caliper type of disc brake. So we can see the exploded view of the caliper that consists of the indicator tab to show what is the condition of the brake, outer shoe, inner shoe is there, dust boot, piston, piston seal, caliper assembly, and locating pins and insulator. So these are the main components of the caliper. Okay. So as I have told you, these brake pads may be asbestos, may be made using metallic or semi-metallic materials, organic materials, etc. So this is the wheel assembly on which we can see that the disc is mounted over here, and caliper. This is the caliper. Actual case. These are the brake linings. Okay. So this is our steel brake line. This brake linings are coming, and this is flexible one. Okay. This is a bleeder screw. In case some air is entrapped between the lines, we can open this screw, and using the brake bleeding procedure we can remove the air. Okay, and this is the brake hose that is flexible because we have to turn the car also. So this is flexible in nature. This may turn along any direction. So this is regarding the wheel assembly unit. So disc brake assembly exploded view can be seen from here. We have a number of components inside this. This is a disc. These are bearings, outer brake pad, inboard brake pad. These are calipers, cap, piston, piston seals, dust seals, etc. So these are fitted over the braking system for disc braking. Okay. So we'll summarize here the difference between the disc brake and the drum brake. What we have studied till now. So we can see the brake action. Okay, brake pedal is connected to the master cylinder in both the cases for drum as well as disc brake. So this braking action is being taken care by the driver. Okay, so when he applies the force to apply the brake, this is basically similar for disc as well as drum brake. Okay, now each wheel has a wheel cylinder in rear and or caliper in front. Okay, if we talk about the drum brake, we have a wheel cylinder. So we have seen this wheel cylinder. So this has two pistons. Okay, at the center of the this wheel cylinder, we apply the high pressure fluid, and this moves the piston outward, and that movement is basically transferred to the anchors, and the anchors moves the shoes outward in case of internally expanding brakes. So and in case of disc brakes, we have seen that caliper. Okay, these may be used in the front side of the cars, front wheels of the cars, because we want more braking efficiency. So next parameter is that each wheel has a brake drum, that is rear side. So that is in the rear side of the vehicle we have a brake drum. Okay, this drum. Inside this drum we use to fit the shoes. These shoes are fitted inside the drum that we have seen. And in case of disc brakes we have disc at the front. Okay, and we can see a number of holes inside this disc because we want to dissipate maximum amount of heat generated by braking action, because principally we have seen that the kinetic energy is converted into heat energy, and some friction material is used to apply or retard the motion of the car by pressing the disc. Okay, so this is used in disc brakes. So each wheel has shoes in the rear side. If it is a drum brake, we have shoes like this, and these shoes are fitted with the